This is the Goode Show.
Okay, so we came down to Destin, and this is our last day at SARS, and we've had a fantastic time. We've met some great people, and one of the entities, foundations that drew me in was TACP. Now, Ramiro, welcome to the show, first of all.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Thank you for sitting down with us. This has been a great event.
It has, actually. It's been great. And I love it, the intimacy that you have where you can get connect with folks. It's not too crazy busy, but you got all the big vendors, you got all the folks coming in and sharing and connecting. It's like a quasi reunion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been fantastic. Tell me about TACP, right?
Yeah.
I want to ask you, first of all, what does TACP stand for? What's the acronym?
Tactical Air Control Party. So we are the forward air controllers, all things fires related. So we're talking about if it flies through the air, if it's called in and launched off a ship, if it's gone through any kind of lethal, non-lethal kinetic effects, your TACP or Tactical Air Control Party airmen are able to do that. TACPs get a certification called JTAC, Joint Terminal Attack Controller. So all TACPs become a JTAC. Their pipeline's about 2 years now. They go through this training and they become a certified JTAC to be able to go through and drop bombs, call in all kinds of things, and control helicopters, aircraft, coordinate airstrikes, and really be that person that brings 500 pounds to the fight when it comes to a firefight.
Now tell us a little bit about you. You served?
Yeah, I did.
How long did you serve?
20 years.
20 years? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did 20 years. Retired about 3 years ago now, so time seems to be flying by. Yeah, it was quick.
Now, I want to ask you quickly, your transition from military to civilian. Would you say that was smooth? Did you feel that you had enough information to help you integrate back? How was it for you?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So, in fact, that's what landed me here working in the nonprofit space. So my best friend was the president of the TACP Association. It's a 501c19. And as I was going through my transition, I was starting to discover, doing my research and everything, and I realized there's so much resources out there for us, but there wasn't like a consolidated place where we could go and find that information out. And so as a result of that, what I ended up doing is creating the Air Force Special Warfare TAP program, which we help out with combat controllers, we help out with pararescue men, special reconnaissance folks, the whole aspect war community. So I started doing all those resources, get connected with those other private organizations, and really kind of sharing and putting that connected in that way. So for my personal transition, peaks and valleys. And that's what I was heard, is peaks and valleys. There's times where you're like, I'm doing it, it's great, like this is going to be awesome. And then there's other times like, oh God, what am I doing right now? And it's a family affair. It's not just a single, just me about it. There's a level of detox, there's a level of offboarding, there's a level of having grace and understanding. And so
I love that.
We worked with a lot of, I ended up getting plugged in with an organization called the Honor Foundation. And absolutely incredible organization. They really helped me understand who I was. They helped me understand who I was, not as, as a senior NCO, not as a TACP, not as a husband or a father or any of those titles, just who I was as a person. What did I want to do? One of the toughest questions I had was, where do you want to live?
Oh, yeah.
And I remember looking at my wife and we're like, well, wait a minute, we can live anywhere? Like, we can go anywhere in the world? Navigating those things. And when my executive coach had asked me, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, describe fun to me. I said, fun? I've been doing fun for the last 20 years. Like, what is fun? And so we're having to go through and, like, ask those tough questions to get that solid understanding of that piece. And so it was really this journey of offboarding. And, I approached it from a point of view that something wasn't ending. It was actually really a new beginning, and I wasn't being bridled. It was one of those things where I wasn't being bridled anymore by some of the military case restrictions that we have in that system we have there. And it's like, wait a minute, I can go forth and conquer and do what I want to do. And so with the Honor Foundation, they had asked me, what did you want to do before the military? Because they were getting us to explore kind of different things. And so I was like, well, I always want to be a demon deacon. I always want to go to Wake Forest and get my degree. And so it took me 21 years, but I did it.
Hey, you did it.
Got it done. So it was. So there was definitely some challenges there.
I like the fact that you mentioned the word grace, because I gave a talk here a couple of days ago about the transition. And I said to them, hey, listen, man, first of all, you got to give yourself grace.
100%.
And you have to give your spouse grace, because the reality of the situation is, and my guy retired after serving 30 years at NSW as a CMC, and I didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
He doesn't know what he doesn't know. I said, so both of you don't know shit.
Right.
And you're right.
That's so true.
Journey.
Yeah, it is.
It's a journey.
Well, think about the onboarding. Think about the onboarding experience. Like if you get onboarded to the Air Force or the Navy, right? You do your basic training.
Hey, this is what happens when we're live. Because
Hey,
people
that's
will
true.
fly, hey, coming in, say hello. We
Yeah,
go live.
stay
Come
alert,
on.
stay alive.
Yeah, come on. Just say, hey, this is James, and James works for
Floor.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
James Webb. I work for Floor.
Right on,
Okay.
James. Yeah.
Good on. Perfect. All right, now you're
No.
going to have to follow us because you're going to be on YouTube as well.
There you go, dude. Nice, man.
See, this is what happens when you do things live. We
There
don't
you go.
cut that shit out.
Yeah, there you go. Just live.
That's
we'll
it.
read from the prompter. We'll do it live.
That's
there you go.
it.
Yeah, O'Reilly factor.
Now
There you
let's go back to the foundation.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So the foundation helps who?
It helps TACPs and their families.
Okay.
So specifically, the foundation was initially created to really work for Gold Stars and help out with Gold Stars. And we've gone through a transformation over the last couple of years. It's a 501c3, so we're certified, registered 501c3. And really, you know, one of the things, one of my friends, close friends of mine asked me, he's like, hey, what does it mean to actually be a member of the foundation?
That's a good question.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, you got a lot of nonprofits out there, and if you don't actually have a vision and an understanding of what it actually means to be a part of it, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
I've always been about tangible results and really working towards that. And so we've done a lot of work with our team. We've got about 27 volunteers that are actively engaged.
Okay.
That's not including our regional representatives that are out there in the country. It's like our regional reps, I'm going to give a shout out for them. They're the folks that when we have like alcohol-related incidents or guys that are potentially suicidal, we literally can get boots on the ground very rapidly.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome in that sense. But specifically with the foundation, so we've got 4 key programs that we work with. The Gold Star Family Sports and No Fail. We're going to be there because Dad can't be.
Yeah.
And so we're there in those pivotal moments. When they turn 16, we give them a check to help out for their first car. When they
nice.
graduate high school and they're going off to college or tech school or whatever they're going to do, we give them another check. When they graduate college and they're getting set up in their first home or their first location, we're there for them. And then when they get married on their first time. So it's all these pivotal moments that, you know, I've got 5 kids, amazing kids. And so like, if I wasn't there, those are things that I would love for my community to be able to take care of, part of that brotherhood, that fraternity there in that sense. So that's our Gold Star Family program. And we do other things with them too. It's not just give them checks. Like we incorporate them and bring them in, that kind of stuff. Then we got our community engagement program, great program. Basically that program is basically to get, we have our scholarships program there. We have our immediate support request grants.
Okay.
So when folks are down and out, need some help, that kind of stuff, they can request help and kind of really codified that program. And then we got our operator engagement program. That one I'm really excited about. That's our TAP program falls in that one. But one of the things that, what does it mean to be a member of this is that, you know, the attrition rate for becoming a TACP is so high. You got folks that'll go through and, you know, for my personal story, oh, sorry, I hit the mic. My personal story, we had 42 guys that started out in my class. Only 10 graduated.
Oh, wow.
So it says a lot there, right?
Yes,
in that sense.
it does.
It says that there's 32 other men that would love to have the career that I had and the fun that I had that I did. But it also says there's something different about those 10 guys, and what is that? And so capturing that, getting folks to realize that, getting folks to even show an industry saying, hey, do you want a high-performing person that knows how to figure things out, can walk into a business and immediately establish rapport, build trust, and know how to say yes and no, and get to yes? That's our community.
I'm just going to stop you there. I love the fact that the mindset is, okay, 10 guys made it through.
Yeah.
So what about these other guys that didn't?
Sure.
Because it's the first time I've actually heard that somebody's thinking about, okay, what about the guys that didn't make it through?
Yeah.
What were their skill sets? Where can we utilize their skill sets?
Yeah. Well, and it's definitely that differentiator, right? It's not that it's not about good or bad or better or worse. It's nothing along those lines. But really, those 10 that stood out and passed and became a TACP in my class, those 10, like what stood out to them, what made them different. And so what I found too is that as guys are in this ecosystem, we call it Air Support Operations Squadron or a Special Tactics Squadron or a Rescue Squadron, they're in this ecosystem where everybody's a high performer, right? So everybody's on this stuff. But because they're in that ecosystem, they think that's the normal. But the reality of it is when you come out into the private sector and you transition out of the military, you realize that no, that's actually, you're a really high performing individual. And you can do a lot more than just say cleared hot, drop bombs and shoot. And so getting folks to realize that and recognizing how that translates into that has been really a main aggressive goal of ours. But you know, another aggressive goal is getting folks understanding money. And so that part of that program, that beta part of that program, the NFL's got a program called the player engagement. And so what the NFL realized is that they were taking kids off the street from lower middle income families, giving them millions of dollars and a lot of money, breaking their bodies up, and then they were being unemployed. And they were getting out and like figuring out, they're just letting them go fend for themselves and figure it out. So the NFL came together and said, hey, you know what? Like, hey, little brother, let me show you how money works.
Yeah.
Let me show you how equity works.
Yeah, because those guys, I've read as well that, well, not just every NFL player, but sometimes they just blow it all because
All
they
the time.
don't have the education.
Well, you go to any military post
Yeah.
with the nice new cars and all the other
Yep.
stuff. They get that $90,000 re-enlistment bonus and all that kind of other jazz, and like
I know.
they just blow it. So we want guys, even myself. I owned 6 homes when I was in that 20-year career. I owned 6 homes, and you know what? I sold my home, and you know what my mindset was? I hope I break even.
Oh,
But think about
okay.
the 5 years and all that equity and interest that I paid.
Yeah.
That I just
Wanted to blow, and you
it just
wanted
went away
to, yeah.
for that because I broke even. Meanwhile, other people were getting rich and recycling, and now they've got residual income coming in because they made good money choices. So we want to get our folks educated in that program. And then resilience and restoration is our last program. That main focus, we're not recreating the wheel. We're actually leveraging with other nonprofits, veteran nonprofits that are already doing those things for folks and getting guys taken care of with that. So we do a lot of vetting to make sure it's the right, because not every nonprofit's created equally.
That's
as you know,
right. Yes,
right?
yes.
And so we want to do the right vetting, and then when we do, when we find them, we build those relationships. Like right behind me, the Honor Foundation, vetted them, I went through their program. I love the Honor Foundation, I'm a big supporter of them, and we do a lot to really help out that piece and get folks and their families. That's the other aspect of it too, is a resilience piece.
Now, I want to go back to something you said earlier on about Air Force TAP program.
Yes,
Right?
yeah, Air Force Special Warfare TAP.
Yes.
Yep.
So
It's a
now,
lot to say.
my understanding of TAP, and I say this to guys all the time,
Yeah.
because I understand that once you're separating, you're getting information, and it's like information through a fire hose. That's,
Sure.
So I say to them, it's a program.
Sure.
So it doesn't start 2 weeks before separation.
No.
It starts 2 years, 18 months prior to
I'll be
separation.
honest, I'll say it's half your career. So if you're
Okay.
going to do 6
yeah.
years, at
Yeah.
3 years. If you're not planning your
Okay.
exit strategy and you're
Yeah.
not working towards that, and we got a lot of folks that do that,
Okay.
they'll basically wait till that last year. And even, hell, I've had folks that'll basically, especially my commanders, my senior leaders, those kind of folks, they're literally, I knew one guy still had his laptop after he retired. It's like, hey
wow.
man, you got to learn how to like disconnect and move on, in that kind of sense. But we want folks to start thinking about their exit strategy early and often. And the reason being is that especially my demographic of med boards, you literally got folks that are running, gunning, doing the job, something happens, and then they're like, hey, thanks for your service, you got to get out.
Yes, that's a really good point.
So think about that. If you
Yeah.
had no exit strategy planned or you had no things about what you want to do, that's my demographic I'm actually most concerned about, because now their identity is immediately ripped away and they're going like, well,
Yeah.
what do I do now? Well, I was
Yeah.
planning on having pension, or I was planning on having different things, or I was planning on doing this for another 5 years, like, and now I have to get out. And that whole process is always tough for folks too, because there's no definitive like you're getting out at this time. It's more of like, well, your med board's going to happen, and this it's like a kick the can, but then it's like, all right, you're getting out in 3 weeks, go.
Yeah, you're just lingering in a space.
Great, well, yeah, you're
Yeah.
lingering, absolutely.
And I actually said to somebody the other day that, in my spousal opinion, what I think should really happen is after your first deployment,
yeah,
we should start talking about not exit strategy,
Sure.
but just just so you guys know that when you do separate,
Yeah.
if you have to early, these are the steps, this is what happens,
Exactly.
this is how family. Otherwise, to your point, and I've met hundreds of service members that I've said to, okay, what are you going to do? Don't know.
don't know, man. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it
You
out.
know what kills me the most? I've heard guys say, I'm going to retire to Fort Living Room. And I'm like, what? I mean, that's cute. That's funny, I guess. But I'm
Yeah.
like, you've
Yeah.
done so much.
Yeah.
Just because you're out of the uniform doesn't mean life's over and you just give up. Like,
Yeah.
you still have so much more to give and get after and make, that kind
Absolutely.
of thing. So that's the same like with that transition program.
Yeah.
Like, I like how you put that. It's not a get out strategy, but
Yeah.
it's more of like posturing and setting yourself up for
Yeah.
the next chapter.
Yeah.
And folks will sometimes not do that. They'll basically like just kind of wait for it at the end. So that's what we've been trying to go and talk with folks and talk to them. And even like with that, a re-enlistment bonus, right? Folks get a $90,000
Yeah.
re-enlistment bonus. Hey, let's look at some potential residual incomes or maybe investment strategies. Obviously, we're not going to tell them buy this stock
Yeah,
or buy
yeah.
that, right? That's dumb. But we want to make like, hey, think about like what can you do financially with that
Yeah.
piece, or hey, this is how you leverage the equity in your home.
Yeah.
And getting folks to understand, or how you leverage the equity in your stock portfolio,
Yeah.
where you don't have to go take more loans out and do
Yeah.
other things like that.
When you talk about pivotal points, one of the things that we do in San Diego, the Goode Show hosts the West Coast CPO spouse event.
Okay, right on.
And at that event, we let our spouses know. Now, remember, your guy's made chief now.
Okay.
He's going to get a little bit more money. What are you going to do with that money?
Sure.
And I think it's really smart what you're doing, because, again, the education portion of money
Right.
It is, because people always think, and I say this, now remember, you've had a paycheck every 2 weeks.
Right.
You got to think about that last check.
Right.
What are you going to do? Because it's your last check.
Sure. Yeah.
And sometimes I think people don't learn until it happens. That's the unfortunate thing. Do you know what I mean? You can you give them as much prep as you possibly can.
Sure. Yeah.
I want to ask you an important question.
Yeah, go
How
for
can
it.
people get in touch with the foundation?
Yeah, so TACPFoundation.org. We have a
Okay.
website there. That's number one.
Okay.
We also have an app that we're working on for the community. It's more of a closed app for more TACPs if they want to be a part of that. And then social media. We're on social medias. We have about 13,000 followers on Facebook.
Okay.
They're probably all Russian Chinese bots, but no, I'm just kidding.
I hope not,
yeah.
because you've been following me.
Right, there you go, yeah. But no, TACPFoundation.org, we got folks just going to the website. They can learn more about the programs that we have and even give us feedback on how we can improve our game. Our volunteers, nobody gets paid.
Yeah.
So everybody's doing they're giving their parts. We're building up our partnership team. So we got 3 other like support strategic teams on there. So shout out for our IT development team. Tiago is one of the greatest guys where I can say, hey man, we just migrated from one system to another. He took care of it. Huge thing. And then we got our strategic partnerships. And I think that's probably our biggest thing with that too is one of the things we want to do with our donors and our partnerships is we want to have relationships.
Yes, yes.
And if I sit down, I think I got a flyer here, but like I sit down with them, I read them in, and we got like a pitch deck almost. And it's like, I'm not asking for your money.
Yeah.
I'm letting you know what we're doing. We'd love for you to be a part of it.
Yes.
So for folks that are wanting to help out a nonprofit, because a lot of our TACPs are not part of AFSOC, they're not part of SOCOM. They're preponderance of them are Air Combat Command.
Yeah. So how do you get the word out to them then? Is it just through your social media, word of mouth?
Word of mouth in our team. I've got a partnership team that we've been building and bringing folks on that want to do business development, if you will, and that kind of piece. And so we've got a list of folks that are already kind of helped us out before in the past, so we're re-energizing those relationships. But then we're also reaching out to new folks and really getting postured because the work we've done with the partnership teams is we want to make sure that if I come and ask you for funds and money, that it's not just a high five. You don't hear from me 10 years or a year later when I come back around asking you for more money. So we want to make sure that you're part of it. You're part of this family and this relationship.
Do you guys have a donate button on your website?
We do. Yeah, we sure do. Yeah.
It's that easy. It's a button. You press it.
Yeah, and if people want to know more about us, that's one of our big things is messaging and marketing, getting the word out. So I thank you for having me on here just to share what we're doing and share the foundation. I appreciate what you do.
Listen, I really appreciate what you do, and I've noticed as well on my travels that it is inherent in service members to continue to serve.
Got that right.
Afterwards, and that blows my mind. I mean, it doesn't happen in the civilian world.
Right. Right.
And I also tell people that are separating, we don't have it written on our forehead, retired spouse or retired this or,
Sure, yeah.
So people out there have no idea of what you've done. And before I left my conversation the other day, I said to the room, now remember something, you are the 0.4% that had the gonads to sign on the dotted line, quite frankly, because I'm not that way. You've done some wonderful things that nobody else out there can do.
Right.
So again, when you go and you look for a career outside, remember that incredible skill set that you have, because sometimes I think service members don't realize what a skill set
100%.
they do have.
The unbridling was like that was if that was one word I could describe my first couple of years was this unbridling to go and run. Like, hey, I felt like I was a pretty good TACP when I was in, a good operator and a good airman and a good NCO and senior NCO. But you want to talk about leadership and your abilities out there in the outside world, in the Wild West, in the open range. Let's see what you got. And so, getting folks ready to unbridled and just go after it and conquer it and get after it. And that's what we want our folks to realize is that you're not calling in bombs, but you're doing a lot of good things. And you can walk into a room, you can make a big difference. And, to your point, 0.01, 0.04%, right? Like, our country needs folks. We need our patriots to step up. We need our patriots to step up and keep going on because there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of things. But I know for a fact that our patriots, especially in this community, they know the Constitution. They know what this country. They know what freedom is.
Absolutely.
And so that's
absolutely.
So I can go on and on about this. I know we're trying to wrap it up.
Hey, that might be another episode, really, just all about freedom.
Heck yeah, that's right.
Listen, Ramiro, it has been a blast. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you
for taking time out of your day.
Absolutely.
And again, you can connect with TACP online, and the website is TACP
Foundation, TACPFoundation.org.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, listen, thank you for your time
thank you.
today.
Appreciate
We're at SOARS 2026. I'm Surinder, this is Ramiro, and we're out.
Thanks for tuning in to The Goode Show. If you loved what you heard, follow me on Instagram @The Goode Show.